First things first, we so appreciate you guys inviting us to come and to share our farm with you and Rhodiola. It's a huge part of our lives. Yeah, this is our story. We started as a small family side project to commercial fishing, and it has grown into one of Alaska's largest producing Rhodiola farms. So I don't really know how that happened, but I suppose it was just God. Before we get rolling, this is what we're going to talk about today. We've got the story of our farm, then I'm going to introduce you to Rhodiola. I have already met one person that has heard about it. Have any of you else heard about Rhodiola, Rosea? Woo! Oh, I'm excited. That's fabulous. For you who already know, hopefully you'll learn something new. And if not, you can help me at the end to answer questions. So we'll talk about growing it organically here. In Nikiski is where our farm is. And then we'll talk about the harvesting and processing. We're going to go from actually the seed to how we make the remedy. And then we're going to talk about the science, collaboration, and our values as a family and as a farm. And then question and answer, and where to find us at the end. So now we're hitting the story of Cabin Lake Farms. And it started, like Brandy said, in 2016. It was two families, the Peters, this is Jonathan Peters, our co-owner, and us sat down to dinner one evening. Jonathan had heard about Rhodiola from Alaska Products Co-op, Alaska Rhodiola Products Co-op in Anchorage. It was by Dr. Petra Iliig. In 2010, she had started it. Anyway, so he was all excited about a new plant that was easy to grow, thrived in Alaska, hands off, no fertilizing, no weeding, no pests. So we decided as families, hey, let's grow it, why not? It'll be so easy. So yeah, we'll talk about how that worked out. So we ordered seeds. We're like, okay, we're gonna start small, so just under an acre, lots of curiosity, and anyway, I'll back up just a smidge. These kids were pretty young when we started. My oldest now is 19, graduated. The rest are still in the throes of homeschooling and fishing and farming with us. You're going to get to hear a bit from each of them later. They all chose the section they wanted to talk about, so yay for homeschool assignments. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Everything is done by hand. I wish it were not. I wish there was so much mechanical automation or robots that could do it. But all in all, we are super blessed to be able to have this farm and to work the land with our family, with our friends. So yeah, our first plants went in the ground in 2016. And since then, we've added more fields. We're up to 6 fields in all. All of them are at different stages of growth. One of them is resting. And it's been a super long process of trials and errors and a lot of prayer and a lot of faith that God's going to do something with it. So, like I said, it started as a small side project and to commercial fishing's off season, and now it is a full-time farm job. And it's been one of the most meaningful and one of the hardest things that our family has ever done. So where it all began, I've already kind of done that, but while those first few years were exciting and a little bit like, what? Oh no, what did we get ourselves into? And a lot of learning curves. So the land clearing, we lived in a nice handy forest, all the trees and the alders, and we had to clear all of that. So that was a tough job. The Peters kids were older, and so they got the job of picking up a lot of the rocks and the sticks out of the fields. Not their favorite job. You can ask them why they don't help on the farm anymore, and it'll go back to 2016. But we got it cleared and planted, and we've planted about an acre each year since then. Whether it's one of the fields that we've already harvested and has laid fallow for a year, we replant. But we have about six fields going. How many acres, babe? About 8 or 9 acres of plants right now. So lots of challenges. Weeds, oh my, weeds are a problem for rhodiola, just so you know. Lots of weather challenges, learning quirks. Just rhodiola is a crazy plant. And it turns out that fertilizing really does make a huge difference, and pests really, really like eating it, which wow. I know, right? I heard a wow back there. From shrews to sandhill cranes to moose. It's pretty crazy, and we'll talk about that later. But all of it, and yeah, I might ask for some deterrent suggestions at the end if you have any great, oh, this has worked super well. But if we had a motto, it would definitely be patience and perseverance grow strong roots. So now we're going to introduce you to Rhodiola rosea. And it's a hardy perennial herb that's from, oh dear, I practiced this word so many times and I can't remember how to say it now. But anyway, it grows naturally. It's from the stonecrop family. And it grows naturally in those Arctic and northern regions. So think Alaska, Canada, Siberia, China, Scandinavia. Loves Rocky Mountains. Kind of fun. Tundra. We see it naturally in aegis, not the rhodiola variety, but rhodiola or rosea variety. But the rhodiola itself is out there. It's known as the golden root or rose root. It has a lot of nicknames, but those are the most commonly used ones. And the smell is why it's named that rose root, because it smells faintly like roses. To some of my family members, they smell it and say, oh, it smells like an orange creamsicle. That's what I heard this harvesting season. But these are also the family members that sometimes can't smell when they need a shower. So I think we can all agree that rhodiola is tough and beautiful and surprisingly fragrant. Just kind of like Alaska farmers and gardeners. So rhodiola, what does it do? So I love science. I'm kind of a sciencey geek. So I apologize, I'll try not to use too many sciencey words. I love studying rhodiola. It is a fascinating plant. It's known as an adaptogen, so that's what modern science has come up with as a term to describe a plant that helps bodies to adapt. Most of the time, it's adapt to stress, to physical, emotional, and environmental stress. So that's why it's called an adaptogen. It's actually called a super adaptogen because it's one of the few plants. It's up there with ashwagandha and ginseng. I'm sure some of you have heard of those. It's exactly like that, but fascinatingly, it has fewer side effects. So it's most well known for supporting focus, for supporting energy, battling fatigue, for helping with mood, anxiety, depression, and physical endurance. I was joking with some of my kids that it was the Red Bull and the Monster before the Red Bull and Monster existed, except it's way healthier. So I see you kids in the back there. Yeah, don't drink those. Those are bad for you. Worldwide history. It was first recorded in 77 AD. So I'm going to introduce my youngest son. He's our youngest farmer in training, and he's also a history lover. So he wanted to do this part.
Ancient Roman Greece. In 77 AD, the Greek physician Dioscorides discussed Rhodiola rosea's medicinal properties in his work De Materia Medica, Scandinavia and Northern Europe. Rhodiola was used by Vikings to enhance their physical strength and endurance. It was a common ingredient in herbal tonics. Rhodiola rosea was included in the first edition of the Swedish Pharmacopoeia in 1755. Russia and Siberia. Records show it used to treat fatigue, anemia, nervous system disorders, and high altitude sickness. It was also considered a natural way to improve stamina, prolong life, and enhance work performance. Traditional Chinese medicine. The golden root in ancient Chinese legends is rhodiola. Rhodiola was used to replenish qi, activate blood circulation, and relieve asthma. It was and still is used as a tonic to protect against cold weather and physical fatigue. Traditional Tibetan medicine. They used it to treat conditions like low vitality, pneumonia, and coughing up blood. Alaska and Canada. The Inuit mixed leaves and buds with other ingredients to create a vitamin C rich food to prevent scurvy. The Naina Athabascans used the leaves and rootstocks as tea for colds, sore throat gargles, and eye washes, and mashed up roots as a poultice for cuts. Nelson and Nunavak Islands, Yupik, have documented the use of rhodiola flowers as a tuberculosis treatment. Modern Russia. Soviet scientists studied the plant in the 1960s, discovering its ability to protect against physical and psychological stress, altitude sickness, and cold. Russian cosmonauts use rhodiola to increase mental clarity and lower stress reactions.
Good job, Robert.
Sits with an encyclopedia and likes to read them all the way through and then tell me all of the things. So, all told, throughout history and still today, it's known for a lot of different things. That's the blessing of an adaptogen. It really truly adapts to each individual body's needs. So this is off script, sorry Silas. So for my husband, we started taking it back a long time ago. Our family bought a motorhome. We took a trip around the country for 3 months. We were driving. My husband was super mellow, super chill, and then all of a sudden he was kind of like, I was like, whoa, what's going on? A little less patient, a little more like, oh, where are we going? Why are you not navigating right? So it took us about 2 weeks to figure out he had run out of rhodiola. I was like, oh. So for him, it was a pretty subtle mood balancer. But boy, when he was off it, we did notice. And then when we figured it out, we're like, oh, here's some more. Let's refill that bottle of tincture. So it really works super well based on your body's needs. Quite honestly, it may not be for everyone. You may be one of those that it doesn't work for, but the best way to find out if it does work for you is to take it usually for 2 to 4 weeks regularly. We usually say start the dose small. We can talk more about this during the question and answer part as well, but that's a gift from God. That's an adaptogen. It really does work for each body differently. But its most well-known compounds, these are the ones you'll see on websites and in articles. They're the rosavins and salidrosides. Those are the two main compounds that act on the neurotransmitters. So those are those little things that fire in your brain to communicate. So they're the ones, they're kind of the, I don't know, I can't think of the word. They're like the words that, the key words or the things that everybody will talk about. But quite honestly, if you ask me, I think while they're super important, in the roots themselves, there are over 140 chemical compounds. And so that's just in the roots. That's not talking about the leaves or the buds that Asher talked about with ancient history. So if you ask me, yes, the rosavins and salidrosides are important. They do act on the serotonin and the dopamine and the cortisol. But to be honest, I think it's the whole plant that's important, not just the standardized 1% rosavins. So anyway, more about rhodiola. It is packed with antioxidants. These antioxidants reduce inflammation, and they protect against age and stress-related cellular damage. So basically, they're gonna keep you a little bit younger. I'll talk about her later. She's an amazing doctor. We've been so blessed to have her come, but Dr. Mahtab Jafari has studied fruit flies and rhodiola extract for years at the UC Irvine University. It's amazing how it stretches out their 24-hour lifespan to days. So she's fascinating in and of herself. And on my reference page that I will let you guys either take pictures of or I can email it to you. It'll be on our website later. But I put her website up there with her research and stuff. It's amazing. So rhodiola is amazing. It has tons of benefits. Often they fall into these three categories: mental, physical, and emotional. So I could go on for an hour telling you about all of the things rhodiola has been proven to do. But I'm just going to go over the main ones. Mentally, it reduces stress and fatigue, increases memory capacity. Emotionally, it treats depression and anxiety, and it does it way better than normal pharmaceuticals because it has so few side effects or contradictions. It balances your hormones and emotions. Cortisol is kind of like one of those words that everybody throws around and nobody really knows about. It's super crazy stress hormone in your body. Perimenopausal women, menopausal women struggle with this a ton. Rhodiola is awesome for helping to balance that. Physically, it supports the immune system. Kind of funny aside, my kids and I, who do not take rhodiola regularly because we're crazy busy, we all caught that cold that's been going around, the sore throat, the sinus stuff. My husband takes his rhodiola religiously in the mornings. Somehow his was so mild where I was laying there in bed with body aches and a fever. I was like, this is miserable. And we just now talked about last night, and we're like, wait, how did you not get so sick? Really does support the immune system well. But again, it's that consistency in taking it. It raises stamina during exercise, and it shortens recovery after. My sons are they're like, I don't know if rhodiola works. It's all in your head. It's one of those things. My husband finally challenged them to take it faithfully for a month because both my oldest sons are pretty heavy in working out. They commercial fish. They own their own set net permit in Bristol Bay, and so they keep themselves in tip-top shape, but we've challenged them to a month of taking rhodiola, so we'll see how that ends up. But all of that, again, it's the consistency. And then it lowers blood pressure and it lowers blood sugar. May not be a super huge noticeable thing, like you may not go to the doctor after a week of taking it and expect your blood pressure to be considerably lower. But it does take the edge off of a high blood pressure. And there are even promising laboratory studies. Rhodiola has been researched for a while, but now it's beginning to be researched in the area of cancers. And there are some really promising and amazing studies that are showing that it can halt the growth of certain types of cancer. So really exciting to hear, to see more studies, to keep my eye out on those kinds of things, because that's a big deal. So there's a section in 1 Corinthians 12. I'm a follower of Jesus, but I love this section where it talks about how the body is a whole bunch of individual parts, but it takes all of them to work together. Like the eye can't do the ear's job, and the ear can't do the finger's job. And I feel like that's rhodiola too. It has great components that you can pull out. But in all, I think it's the whole plant that works together incredibly well to benefit people's emotional and mental and physical health. So now I'm going to hand this mic over to Eli, my second oldest, to kick off the section about growing it in Alaska.
Alaska's long summer days, long winter nights, and cold temperatures make it one of the best environments for rhodiola cultivation. The seeds themselves need at least 6 weeks of freezing temps for seed stratification before they will germinate. Stressful conditions for this crazy plant mean stronger adaptogenic compounds. The plant actually prefers tough conditions, poor sandy soils, rocky slopes, and cold weather. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what type of soil. It doesn't just tolerate Alaska, it loves it. The cold, the wind, and the crazy weather actually make it stronger.
Good job.
I will add, growing it in that clay loam, which is what a lot of our farm is, it makes it a lot harder when you go to harvest it in the amounts that we do. But it really does grow super well. One of the ladies that I've already spoken to said that it has grown in her garden and it just kind of has come up under her haskets, and so it's a really actually easy plant to grow, although you really do have to be patient. So we will go ahead and talk about the seed to field part. In the back on that table, there's a tiny little envelope of seeds. I couldn't count 50 because they're so itty bitty. But we collect the seeds in the fall from these sort of dead flowers at the top. Once they all bloom out, what's the name?
Seed pods?
The seed pods, sorry. That's why I brought him. So we go ahead and cut all of those seed pods off, shake out the seeds. It reseeds itself incredibly well. But to grow it for cultivation, we try to do it a little more carefully. And then we hand plant them, let's see, Steve, finger plants them in about 300 to 500 seed starter trays. So those are those ones, they've got 72 plugs per tray. So if you can imagine all those little tiny seeds, it takes them a while. He and Jonathan usually take care of that. Anywhere between November and February, some years, Alaska weather, some years it's awesome, some years it's like last year where it was warm and icy. We usually wait until it's solidly freezing outside all the time. And then we take those trays that have been planted with those seeds and we put them out in we call it our nursery or our baby pen. Basically, we've just got fence panels around in a big circle and we lay our trays right out there on the frozen ground in the snow. The Lord is so kind to pack snow on top to hold them down so the wind doesn't blow our trays away. And then we let them sit. Like Eli said, it really does take at least 6 weeks for that seed stratification to happen, so that seed, that outer cover, even though those seeds are so tiny, it's so hard that it takes that freezing and thawing to actually crack so the plant can germinate and start growing. So that part of it was super easy. Well, not the planting part, but letting it sit outside. The snow does a great job of protecting it. And then in the spring, when things start thawing out, we have about 20,000 to 40,000 plants, depending on our field size, that we end up planting. And Kennedy, our fabulous marketing person, has taken some incredible videos that will actually show you this process in action. So kids, it won't just be me blabbing the whole time. But really, springtime is a lot of frozen fingers and muddy boots. Planting is kind of a messy, tough business. And then we usually will take those plugs and break them apart. You'll see in the video we're pulling out the little bits of weeds that have blown in there over, the winter that have started growing, especially on years like last year where there wasn't a lot of snow to cover them. And then, we put them in the ground, and a lot of it is slow root development. So you're not gonna see the big, huge, beautiful tops right away. A lot of the growth of this plant happens underground, and that's what we usually really want for harvesting. 5 to 6 years it takes to be ready to harvest. With fertilizer, we've found that we can shorten that time to maybe a long 4 years to 5 solid years of waiting while it grows. But again, planting, fertilizing, all of it happens by hand. So this next slide is a video of the planting. Really, I think planting is one of my favorite parts. They're so beautiful, aren't they? Those little tiny starts are, yeah, they are. They're cute little babies. That's right. So now we're going to switch to talking about our organic growing practices. For a long time, I think we kind of poo-pooed organic. Oh, it's just a name. It's just a label. Not super important. But as we started growing as a farm, getting more plants in the ground, started harvesting them, we really wanted to make sure that our practice lined up with our values. And so that's when we started pursuing the Oregon Tilth organic certification. It is one of the most respected programs in the country. It's maybe not one that you hear about all of the time, but let me tell you, they have some pretty stringent requirements. So basically, no herbicides, no sprays, no shortcuts. Reflects a really deep respect for the soil, for the plants that we're growing, for the end product. That's really important to us at Cabin Lake Farms. And to the ecosystem. This farm is just one little plot, but we've got bees that roam, and we've got neighbors that grow things. We have Cool Cash Farms just up the road from us. So it makes a difference how we grow things and the things that we use. So every year, our very lengthy and paperwork-heavy recertification process really basically just reaffirms our commitment to transparency. And I think that's one of the I know this isn't a sales pitch. This is just my heart as a farmer, and my husband's and Jonathan's. We want to be transparent. We want to make sure that whatever products are coming out of our field, even weeds, I gather the yarrow that grows in between the plants, and I use that myself and for my family to make tea and stuff. This is stuff that my family consumes, and I want it to be the absolute best and safest that it can be. So that's sort of why we ended up going with growing it organically. Oh, although I wish. I was walking through the fields this fall before the snow came. So many weeds. Finding people to weed, it's hard. And my farm hands, let me tell you, that is like their absolute least favorite job. So it's a really hard thing to do, but it is important. Again, though, most of what we do is really because we want this to be a sustainable thing. Steve and I are getting older, him especially. No, I'm just kidding. But this is something that we want our kids to be able to have. So we're gonna grow it in a way that's gonna be sustainable for them as well. Whether or not they choose to take over, they're still debating. Anyway, a short little funny story about the lady, the Oregon Tilt lady that came out to inspect this spring. We actually pay for her to come up and inspect our farm, and she does other farms around as well. But it was the worst day. It was freezing cold, it was super windy, it was pouring rain, the fields were just a mud pit. And I felt kind of bad that that was the day she came to our farm. But at the same time, she just was reminding us, absolutely everything you do has to be written down. You water, you weed, you fertilize it, you write down where in the field, which row. So it is a lot of paperwork and a lot of recording. Kids, one of the funny things she told Jonathan, our co-owner, at the end of her conversation with them, is she said, if you fart in a field, you write it down. So we don't go overboard quite like that, or we wouldn't have room to record all of those things we do. The watering, most of the time we let the rain, which we have plenty of, especially in the summers lately, we let the rain water it. We do use some organic fish fertilizer that we add to the water. You'll see a picture of that in a minute, or a video of that. For the natural compost, we take all of the tops and all of the leftovers when we're harvesting, and we put them in totes and put it right back out on the field that we're harvesting. Makes an awesome natural compost. And again, this is all labor intensive, from the weeding to the record keeping. It's a big job having a big farm. We like to joke that our memory foam bed weeding setup is probably the best invention ever. Some people don't think it works great, but it is comfy. But anyway, so here are some videos of the watering and weeding. just really quickly, I'm sure you saw those beautiful yellow flowers that the bees were on in that last video there. And they are incredible flowers for the early bees when the pollinators are out. Really, really great flowers. It's an early bloomer, and the pollinators really do love those. There's a little bee right there. So we, about 5 years ago, bought our first hives and bees, and we wanted them basically for help with pollination because we wanted to stop spending thousands of dollars to buy seeds from others when we had our own. So we found that the bees are great. The increase in the seeds that we're able to collect, amazing difference. So again, these pollinators are fabulous. We have successfully overwintered our bees twice. I think that's prayer more than skill. And we've gotten one great honey harvest with some of the most amazing honey. But again, we don't keep them necessarily for getting all of the honey. This year we collected just a tiny little bit and left the rest for them, hoping that they'll make it again through the winter. But again, the ecosystem thrives when we work with nature instead of trying to control it and go against it. Besides bees, we've got our fabulous pests. They're friendly and they're so fun to watch, but oh my, I'm sure in the harvesting videos, you'll be able to see all of the stomping moose holes, from their feet going through the plastic and all of that. They love to eat the plants, especially those early green shoots when they're just first coming out. Man, you will see those moose covering those fields on their knees, their front knees, just chomping up those whole plants. We were told moose hated them. Yeah, well, these moose, I wish some of them would get legal because they've got to be super healthy moose after all the rhodiola. Anyway, they actually will come back all year round. Asher and I went out the day after hunting season closed. And how many moose were out there, Asher? It was the evening.
6, I think.
6 moose. 2 of them were big bulls. 1 of them was legal. We were like, really? You waited until now to show up the day after the season closed. Anyway, sandhill cranes love to come. Those are actually really fun. They're so fun. Those birds are so huge and amazing. They love, during their migration, they stop in the spring, load up on all the worms and the early plants, and boy, those things can rip those plants out of the ground like nobody's business. We're looking for those worms. And then they visit in the fall when they're going home, or going south, I guess. So during heavy snow years, do you guys remember that year we had tons of snow? When it melted, we could not believe the damage the shrews had done. They just tunneled everywhere underneath the snow, and they were eating the roots and they were eating the plastic. It was insane. So thankfully we've only really seen that one time, but that was kind of a surprise to us. We were like, what happened to all these plants? They were nibbled on by the shrews. So all of that to say, these are amazing and challenging parts of owning a farm and a garden. I'm sure you guys have seen all of these same kinds of pests. It's a really good thing they haven't come up with a Roundup equivalent for moose deterrents, because I would be so tempted, organic farm or not. All right, so now we're going to jump to the harvesting. So this is a full family affair. My mom comes and helps. My mother-in-law in the back there comes and helps, and she keeps our family fed during harvesting. I'm so grateful for that. My father-in-law is out there helping. My dad showed up during harvesting this last fall as well. It is a big job. It's probably the biggest and the most time-consuming job that there is on our farm. We use a tractor set up with a custom-made potato digger, just perfectly lined up for our rows, for the size of our rows, and we go ahead and set the depth to just loosen the soil and get the plants up, and then each plant we have to individually shake out, and then we toss them into a pile, and then all the plants go over to the cutting tables, is what we call them, And we do usually just a couple of rows at a time and get out as much of the dirt as we can. Each field averages about 20 to 25 rows, and there's about 900 to 1,000 plants in each row. You'll see the plants when the harvesting video comes on, but it's a big job. Lots of muddy or super dusty, like this year. We had an awesome stretch of weather for harvesting. It was such a blessing because it took us 18 days. 18 days. We took Sundays off. Otherwise, it was 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So a lot of just hands on the grind of farming. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the amount of help and the field size. So we will go, it's part workout, part celebration every time we finish a row. So here's a video on that. Once we get them out of the ground, and we're not even done yet. We get them out of the ground, we cut them up at the cutting tables, open up those roots so we can get the dirt washed out. And that's that next section, from mud to magic. It's the washing, the chipping, and the drying. So we pull all of the stems off. By hand again, we use smaller knives to cut them open, get them so that the majority of the dirt is out, and then we run them through this amazing washer that Jonathan and Steve built. We recycle the water. I mean, every year we refine it a little more, make it better, hopefully, when it doesn't break down. But basically, each root ball is pre-cleaned by hand. We load them in tubs, get those tubs into the washer, and then we move them to the chipper. We have 2 of those handy robo-coos, and we shove them all in there, and they come out in beautifully thin slices. And then my girls are the main spreaders in the drying trailer that we have built. We spread them on screens and shelves, and we have basically outfitted a big old reefer trailer as a monster dehydrator. So we have 2 wood stoves in there. Yeah, there's the rhodiola all laid out on trays. There's a video coming for that too. But those wood stoves get fired up, and we keep it right around 120 degrees to keep the plants good compounds, but also balance it with the drying time that's needed, because it takes about 24 to 40 hours depending on the weather outside. If it's super rainy, it takes longer. If it's a beautiful warm fall day, it goes a little faster. So after harvesting, we're left with beautiful, crisp, fragrant chips of rhodiola ready for selling, bagging or tincture making. So there's another video of that process. So all in all, once those things come out of the dryer, we have our finished products. The main things that we offer at our farm, at Cabin Lake Farms, is tincture and dried root. We are just, for the first time, going to the craft fair at the Kenai High School after Thanksgiving this year. So the kids and I have made some soap, and we're putting some bath teas together. With Epsom salts and rhodiola. I gave them to the moms in our church on Mother's Day and got tons of great feedback. So I thought, we'll add that to the craft fair. But right now, mainly what we sell, especially on the website, is the chipped dried root and the tincture. The root, we often find people using it for do-it-yourself things. They make tea. My mom makes an awesome rhodiola tea. My mother-in-law, too. She and my father-in-law drink it every morning. Ish, yep, she's nodding. So, makes awesome tea. You can make your own tincture. We use ethanol, high quality food grade ethanol, because we have found that alcohol extracts a lot of those compounds that are super important. They're not water soluble, but they are alcohol soluble, which is why we use alcohol instead of glycerin. Some people use glycerin, and it, like I said, it's the whole plant that helps, so it will still pull out great stuff. But we have chosen to go with ethanol and water for our tinctures. No additives, no sugar, no added stimulants or anything. Rhodiola is good enough just on its own. I am going to introduce Bethany, and she's going to come and talk about how we've partnered with some pretty amazing scientists over the years, and we still are. So she's going to tell us about our science and collaboration.
Okay. We have worked with the University of Alaska Fairbanks and Dr. Jennifer Macbeth for over 5 years. Yearly, we have teams come from UAF to take soil samples, and they look at the organic fertilizer effects in our plant growth and health. Our goal is to help Rhodiola Rosea. Our goal is to help build Rhodiola Rosea as a viable Alaskan crop. We have also had a wonderful relationship with Dr. Mahtab Jafar, a professor at UC Irvine, who has spent 20 plus years studying rhodiola. She has visited our farm, helped to educate us on the science of rhodiola itself, as well as lending a hand in planting and harvesting. It has been amazing to connect our farm to real research and help put Alaska on the herbal map.
And Dr. Macbeth is up on the top picture with her UAF team. And in the resource page, I've got a couple of articles that she's co-authored and fascinating stuff. They're studying some diseases that have started developing in rhodiola. So she's really good at helping us narrow those down. And they created Plant Helper, which we got to test on our fields. It's an organic fertilizer approved by OrganTilth. So, and then Dr. Jafari is down there in the bottom. She's making tincture with us. So we've been really blessed to be able to do those things. And we are ending with our values because I've already sort of sprinkled them throughout. But farming is really about caring not just for the land, but for each other. God gave me an incredible family and friends to work with. And as a homeschool mom of 5, Silas has already graduated. Farming is an incredible, incredible way to teach work ethic, to teach kids what owning a business and running a business looks like, whether it's fishing or farming. It's an incredible blessing to have the opportunity to do this. And I do recognize that it's a blessing. Not everybody can go out and buy an acre of land to start a farm. So it really, truly is a gift from God that we were able to do this. And I am not here because I love doing presentations. Put me in a classroom with a bunch of kids, and man, I'm happy as can be. I guess you're just kids of a different age. But I'm here because I really do believe in what we do. Growing rhodiola here in Alaska on the Kenai Peninsula is incredible. It's an incredible opportunity that we get to share with others. And everybody, every person is valuable and has purpose. Whether you're as young as these girls back here, or whether you're the oldest one in here. I'm not sure who the oldest one is. My mother-in-law might take the cake. God's given her a lot of amazing years. Everybody has purpose and value. And if we can add rhodiola to that and help them live a little better, that's why we do what we do. Whether you buy our rhodiola, whether you find it somewhere else for cheaper, or whatever, rhodiola is an incredible, incredible herb. So that's why we are out here. We do it to share what we have experienced, what we know, and what we're continuing to learn. And our customers, they're not names, they're our friends, they're our family. One of the incredible things we do, we meet every Wednesday, and occasionally we'll just pray for the customers that are buying our rhodiola. And it's incredible to be able to participate in this side of it. I've always been, Steve calls me a witch doctor because he can't think of a better name. I have always preferred the natural route because really, we can grow this stuff in our backyards, in our front yards, in pots. And these are things that we can use to benefit our health without having to go to the drugstore and then finding, oh no, it's got a whole bunch of side effects that now you have to take more medications for. So all of that, it's not about just growing plants. It's about being well and being able to share that. So I'm going to sum it up with one of my favorite verses, Colossians 2, 6, and 7. And it says, so then just as you received Christ Jesus as Lord, continue to live your lives in him, rooted and built up in him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. And that's really what I am. I am so grateful. I'm grateful to be here, to have this opportunity to share. I'm grateful for my family, for my friends. So we are going to go to the question and answer time. And look, I'm only only 3 minutes over. Ooh. Yes, ma'am. And I want to tell you, you can ask kids, husbands, anybody. So yes, question.
I have two questions. How does your commercial fishing and the farming coincide? I mean,
Intersect. Yes, she asked.
they're both hard work.
Yeah, they are very hard work. She asked how fishing and farming coexist. It's really challenging, but we are blessed to have Jonathan Peters, our co-owner. He does a lot of the business stuff, does the hiring of the weeders who come and work during the summer, because we do. We move our whole family, we fly our chickens out. We really do in May, and we're not back until we harvest in August. So it's family and friends that keep the farm going.
And the other question was, are you selling to big commercial accounts?
Yes, ma'am. So she asked if we're selling to big commercial accounts. We do sell our product to Alaska Rhodiola up in Anchorage. We also have other buyers. Like I said, because we're the largest producers right now commercially of Rhodiola, a lot of people will often come say, hey, can we buy some of your product?
I mean, are you shipping it overseas to be?
We don't ship it overseas. We were going to, but it became a protected species.
Oh, yes.
So,
Can everybody hear him?
yeah.
Okay.
So to try to get that done is a real hassle. So we're not, they put it, I can't remember the name of the organization, but it's a worldwide organization that all your protected and endangered plants and stuff, they won't let you ship them.
Oh.
So we actually, a couple of years ago, we were going to send all of our crop to Spain, but during that time is when it became a protected species, and so we didn't.
Oh.
Yesterday, we shipped 300 pounds to a company down in the lower 48. So if it's U.S., it's fine.
Right. Oh.
And that may change too, because again, rhodiola it's not being cultivated on a huge scale anywhere yet. And so, because it is really rare out in the wild and because it takes so long to grow, it is protected. So that's one of the blessings, is that we get to start farming it sustainably, so it will continue to keep coming back.
It takes about 25 years in the
In the
wild,
wild, yeah.
to come to maturity.
So that's why we're careful about where you get your rhodiola. Oh my, yes.
Yes, I see that you propagate by seed, but I know that it can also be divided, and I was wondering if you've ever done any of that commercially.
So what we find is that the kids and I will often go out, or our weeders or whoever will go out in the field that we put all of our tops and the junk on, we will often find plants that have regrown from the cuttings. We don't propagate that way because it is easier to do it by seed when we're doing it in huge volume. Yes, sir.
What was the powder you're putting on in the planting?
Oh, good question. So that's our fertilizer. We had our soil tested so that we knew exactly what percentages we needed, what we were short on. We use Calphos, we use gypsum, green sand, dolomite, and did I hit them all? Yep, I hit them all. So that's that. Yes, so it's the two-part. We mix it in a big old mixer, and the kids go out and do it by hand in every single little hole.
The second part, have you got to see it growing in the wild, Rhodiola?
Yes, so we, not Rosea, but in Abigic, my mom, you want to tell them?
No.
Just on one of my walks, I saw Rosea.
Rhodiola?
Yeah, whatever, whichever one it is.
Not Rosea, but the other.
Anyway,
there's a lot of
I saw it in
varieties.
one of my Alaska flower books, and so I was collecting that year, and so I brought a whole bunch of them back, and I put it in my salad. So we were eating the plant, and then I find out about 7 years later that, this is right. So,
We saw it in the wild, the Rosea near McLaren River off the Valley Highway. It's just beautiful. And so naturally, you're in the tundra. It looks like, oh gosh, there's nothing here. You get down on your hands and knees, you go, oh my God, everything is here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
nothing
is.
is here.
It's so fun.
It's not nothing. It was amazing. So they're good.
There's
Good
at
fun.
least 53 varieties of rhodiola out there.
Mhm.
Rosea is just
The most studied, yeah.
Are all the varieties of rhodiola medicinal the same way, or?
So because they've not been studied, it's hard to say. Like Asher told us about the Inuit that use it way up north. We have no idea if it's rosea, but they use the leaves and the flowers and the roots themselves. So until a scientist has the time and the money to study it, nobody really knows. I'm gonna answer this question right back here. You wanna ask your question?
Yeah. You need a fence.
For the moose, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we do need a fence. That's a good problem-solving answer right there, girly. Good job. Yes.
I was gonna say, when you're propagating, do you like burn your holes in the plastic with like a flame thrower?
Yes, sort of.
And how far apart are your plants or your?
Oh my, that changes.
about every foot square. And yeah, we do use a torch to do them. We did them.
We used to hand punch
We've done it
the
all
holes.
kinds of different ways. We started with the puncher and then to pull the plastic and everything. Now it's easier to go with
the
the torch.
flamethrower is the way to go.
Yeah. Betsy.
Yeah, so a little boy was telling me that maybe you lost some chickens. And I was thinking that maybe a dog. And so I know people who have a puppy right now. That's not my question. My question is, how does it affect like your regular meds that you have to take? Like, you said, I think you said high blood pressure, so I'm old now. So I'm using high cholesterol, and I'm like, man, wouldn't it be nice to get rid of that? I'm not sure this is the answer, but, how would that affect that, or is there studies? You said neurotransmitters, it's nothing to do with high blood pressure medicine.
Yeah, but like I said, it's the whole plant that has tons of amazing medicinal components. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say, yes, absolutely take them. What I do know is there have been a lot of studies done about contraindications. So that's the fancy way of saying whether or not it will interact with other medications. Right now, the biggest interactions are with antidepressants. Basically, it can interact with something that lowers serotonin because rhodiola balances serotonin. So you've got those two competing things. So right now, that's the main one right off the bat that I can think of. Obviously, if you've got major health issues, talk to your doctor. Naturopaths are great ones to go to or functional medicine doctors, because they will listen to you when you say, hey, we've got a wonderful alternative. Can I take this? How will this interact? Otherwise, there is quite a bit of research out there on how medications interact. So far, I've got a friend who has diabetes who's taking it, and it does not lower her blood sugar dramatically enough to interfere with her insulin. She's on an insulin pump 24/7. So, but she does take it, was okayed by her doctor, and finds that it makes a huge difference for her. Yes, ma'am?
The fish emulsion liquid you were putting on, is that homemade?
No, it is not. So, because Oregon Tilth is really, really particular, it had to be approved by them. But it is here in Alaska. No, never mind. Not from Alaska.
Alaska fish fertilizer.
Alaska fish fertilizer. Yeah.
So it's not made in Alaska, and you can catch fish.
Right? That's what we keep telling Oregon Tilth. But let me tell you, the paperwork is insane, and with farming and fishing, I don't have time to do it all. Yes, ma'am.
You said that the whole plant is used, but I only see you using the roots.
Yes, ma'am. So when I talk about the whole, I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Okay. When I say the whole plant, I'm basically meaning we don't just pick and choose the components that we want to keep in. We are not going to toss away a bunch of root because the rosavins and solidrosides are under 1%. That's more what I mean, because the whole plant itself does amazing things. Our problem right now is nobody wants to buy the leaves, nobody wants to buy the stalks or the shoots. So, and really we would have no way of packaging and distributing them, I guess. So that's where we're at with that. Yes, ma'am, you've been waiting.
To purchase your product, is it just on the website or can we
Yes,
come to
ma'am.
the farm and visit?
Oh, we would love that. I gave a homeschool tour this fall and let some kids come and pull plants. No, really, if you want to come and check out the farm, we would absolutely love that and encourage that. I've got a contact page coming up next. Email us, call us, show up. We live there, so. But yes, thank you for asking. But yeah, you can buy our products on the website, and we do have free local pickup. So
Just be careful if you're coming in, the road is a runway.
yeah, the road is a runway. My husband and both my older sons are pilots, so yeah, we live on a runway, and it goes right between our rhodiola fields. So yes, ma'am.
So with that idea that a whole plant can be used, does the top half winter over and regrow in the next season, or is that part?
That part dies off. So
Can
that
you then use that, harvest it personally, like, for making tea or something else, not on a commercial level, but?
yeah, absolutely. So I actually snuck some rhodiola tops into our salads and stuff during the harvesting. Some of it is we're gone in the summer. So, and they do die off in the winter. So all of the tops will die come fall time. On that Alaska Resilient whatever page, there was one of frost. And right now they're all completely, the tops are falling off and dead. But yeah, I mean, if you want the tops, come to my farm. I will cut some and give you some for free.
You're not gonna get as much
Yeah.
of the chemical compounds in the tops.
That's true. So yeah, the rosavins and salidrosides are not in the tops, is what Steve was saying. So yes, ma'am.
Yes, I did see a functional medicine practitioner, and I did have one of those Dutch tests.
Oh, wow.
Just the dried urine comprehensive hormonal tests.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
one of the things that they do test is your cortisol, your adrenals. And mine came back, my functional medicine practitioner says, oh, we'll give you ashwagandha.
Mm-hmm.
I tried that for several months and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't find any benefits from it.
Yeah.
And I asked AI, I just said, I'm just gonna run this through AI. And they said, oh, rhodiola would be perfect for you.
Yeah.
And it's an adaptogen. And I just recently picked it up at Echo Lake Meats. I didn't find it at Save-Me-More. I think they're not carrying it anymore. But we had it at Maggie's place.
Yep, we have it at Maggie's, Echo Lake Meats, and we did have it at Save-Me-More, but they only bought 6 bottles, so that it may be gone there. But really, honestly, we love it when you just get it from us. That way we can send you our emails and our discount codes and that kind of stuff. Yes, ma'am.
You know, that plant looks very familiar. Have you ever heard of Hanenschetz? I don't know the Latin name at all. But
Yes.
it looks like potential grandparents of Hanenschetz.
Yeah, so actually, that's a weed that we battle too. but no, this is actually the rhodiola plant. It's the stonecrop family, so it's actually a relative of succulents.
Succulents,
Which,
yes.
yes ma'am. So, yeah, but it is different. Brandy.
I have 2 questions. One is, I have a plant that I got from my mom, Jackson Gardens, and it's known to me as King's Crown. Is there a way, is that related to this, or could I find out by looking at it if it's rhodiola? How do you tell?
So, I don't have a good answer for that. I am not sure how to tell the different, I've never heard of King's, what did you call it? King's Crown.
It's very similar, so.
Yeah.
It's the same.
So it's probably in that stonecrop family. So I would just do a little bit of research. Rhodiola itself, it is actually pretty similar to other plants, but you'll find that really, really clear symmetry in all of the tops and stuff. The yellow flowers on the female plants, the red flowers on the male. Do I have that right? Yeah. So, yeah. So sorry.
The question is, and maybe you said this, but from the time you plant seeds till the time you harvest, how many years?
5 to 6 years. Our first field was 6 full years. We went to harvest on the 5th year because we were told, oh, 5 years, it'll be ready. We did not fertilize that field at all. So, and it took 6 years and those plants were small still. So.
Is that how you can tell when it's ready to harvest?
Yep.
By size?
Yep, the size of the plants. Most of the plants are about half a pound to a pound, the root balls. And that's when we know they're about ready to harvest. We love them bigger because who doesn't love them when it's bigger? But yeah, so.
The compounds when they're smaller?
So the compounds, you know, testing, how much does a test run?
About $600 to $800.
$600 to $800 to have the plants tested. So we don't get it tested like multiple times in a year. We do regularly test for those components, mostly the rosabins and cylindricides, because those are the ones that our commercial buyers want to see. They want to see that certain percentage, which I totally get. But honestly, I think again, it's the whole root with all of those over 140 chemical components that make a huge difference. So, I don't know, did I answer your question well? Okay.
King's Crown is a type of rhodiola.
There you go.
And it's actually what you see in the tundra.
Okay.
Typically, King's Crown is what grows, and it's what you see wild in Alaska a lot of times.
He's my researcher and tech guy. Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple questions.
Absolutely.
So in the video, you guys were pulling up everything. Do you use the roots to replant?
No, so we don't, we don't use the roots to replant. We grow it from seed and then we plant those plugs. We found that's the easiest and fastest way. We've got a old broom handle, couple old broom handles. You saw Asher in the video making the holes, and then we just go along by hand and dip it in the fish fertilizer water and then plant it in that fertilized hole, and we just dump.
Yeah, that's time consuming.
Super tedious.
Do you guys sell like plants that are ready to be planted, like bigger ones ready to be planted?
We have never had interest in that before. I know I've given away quite a few.
The plug business is big, you might consider it.
Ah, well, thank you.
So I would love
Yeah.
to buy some that's like ready to go. I would love to skip the seed process and just plant.
Right, me too. Yes, ma'am. Email me. Any other questions?
This is so interesting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
But if you bought some plugs and planted them, they wouldn't come back, right?
Well, oh yeah, they'll continue to come back. It is a perennial, so it's gonna keep coming back. We do it, yeah, they are hard to kill. But because we do it for cultivation, to actually harvest it and use it, we don't leave any in the ground. It would, I don't even know, by so many times multiply the effort if we had to try to cut the root and only take part of it. So we just dig it up, we let that field that we just harvested lay fallow for a year so that the soil has time to recover, all of that good stuff. And so it's a rotational crop. So each one of our crops is a year behind the next, if that makes sense. And then we always have one field laying fallow so it can rest.
Do you soil test every year?
When we are in different fields, yes. Some of them are different material, I guess. Some of them are that real nice, super thick soil that just, you're like, oh, this is amazing. Some of it's clay loam, so, we do when we feel like there's a need.
How hardy they are is you can actually, the fields we harvest, there's always plants you don't get, you chop up, and we call them
volunteers.
Yes, sir, that's it.
There'll be a whole bunch of those growing out there next year.
And that wouldn't be good, they're not good to dig up.
Oh, Oh,
We do. We replant them. We'll often dig them up. Those are the ones that I will dig up and share with friends. And
They're tough.
yeah, they are very tough.
They want to live.
They do. They do.
Do you guys grow any other food?
We do
Like for your
not.
family?
Well, no. My in-laws grow potatoes. My mom grows potatoes. I would love to start doing other things, but again, with being gone all summer, it's pretty tough.
Where's your guys' site job?
We're out in Agagik, so it's just south of Naknek, King Salmon. It's the river system right after that. My dad actually, my grandparents were teachers out there in the 50s. My dad was out there, grew up commercial fishing. My grandpa started the last year of sailboats, is that what it was?
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, and my family does it. My brother, all my cousins fish, aunts, uncles. It's, again, I am incredibly blessed. So, yeah, yes, ma'am.
Have you ever used like a cover crop on your fallow fields?
So not on the fallow fields, but we have, well, I guess we sort of,
We've talked about it.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We're trying, but again, Oregon Till is super particular about what we can use. Right now, we're trying clover in between the rows to try to keep the weeds down. Because again, weeds are our bane right now. They make it really hard come harvest time. I think you saw Steve pull out a whole birch tree out of that one plant. And we do, when we're harvesting, we have to be really careful to get all of the weeds out. Horsetail is another one of those roots. Yeah, gardeners, right? You get me. So it's challenging.
Useful in its own sense, but not needful.
Absolutely. Oh, I love how you phrase that. Write that down.
Horsetail is the bane of most gardeners, but you know what? It looks so pretty when it's all dewy.
It does.
It makes a great hair wrap. Yes,
It does. And scrubbing pots, can't we? Yeah. Anyway, I want to be respectful of your time. So are there any last questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a beehive for each field or?
So our hive is actually in an old truck. It's a doorless old work van almost, and we have the hive sitting right there in the passenger seat. And I know, it's well protected. They actually tend to be super happy. And no, our fields are just right there in that big space. I wish I had thought to put a big picture of overhead. But no, we just have them right there on the edge of the fields.
We could use a lot more hives if we wanted to.
Yeah.
We just don't. And that's our honey truck.
Yeah, that's what we call it, a honey truck.
Do your chickens bother the plant?
No, not at all. They'll go and pick in the weeds sometimes. We just make sure to keep them out of the babies.
Okay.
And I used to have a lot of chickens, and I'm down to 5. Bristol Bay is really hard on chickens. We had a bear that ate most of them a couple of years ago. This summer, it was the fox that came and took most of them. So I have 5.
They're attractive to those 4-footed animals.
Yes, they are so attractive. But anyway, well, I'm going to hand this over to my closer, Hattie.
Thanks so much to you all and the Central Peninsula Garden Club. The QR code will take you to our website for more info, and we have multiple social media outlets. We'd love to stay in touch. Thank you again for letting us share our story. It's a privilege to grow something so special right here on the Kenai Peninsula.